Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we are talking with Julian Taylor. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's a nice day out at least today, and fun stuff to happening.
For sure, man. Yeah, getting to play the TD Music Hall at Massey Hall this
Yeah,
evening myself, and very excited about that. I've never played Massey Hall. I've never got to play the old one, so it's nice to be invited to check out this new room and to see the new building and perform alongside some great friends.
yeah. I actually I got to talk with who was it yesterday? Of course, my notes are everywhere. Andrea England yesterday about
Yeah, yeah, Andrea,
the
right.
the whole thing. So before we get too far into that, for those who are new to you and your music, can you give a little kind of intro about yourself and kind of what you do?
Sure. I have been making music for a couple decades now, 25 years. Started in a band called Stagger Crossing, which was like a alternative country rock, folk, alternative classic rock sort of outfit.
Okay.
And then Julian Taylor Band was more of a sort of pop, rock, funky R&B fusion. My solo stuff is more of a folk roots country rock kind of thing. I've been an acoustic guitar player, electric guitar player for many, many years. That's how I started out. Played piano as well. You're talking to me from my little project studio slash office, and yeah, I my music is very heartfelt. I think is what people have described it as well as um, allegorical storytelling, as well as I don't know, funky sometimes and groovy. I don't know.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of it before the interview, and I got a nice feel of kind of who you are as a musician just by listening to some of your songs, and you got a little bit of mix of all kinds of things going on, and you have fun with it. It seems
Yeah,
like.
I'm definitely a mixed bag for sure.
hmm
Yeah, and you'll have to excuse me if I sneeze or anything. Allergy season's hit me hard, so
I'm in the exact same boat. I've been popping allergy pills like crazy the last couple of days.
yeah.
So
It's
early
always good to
music.
have allergies day of show.
Oh yeah, exactly. So early music for you. Did you have like an album that you bought that kind of went, wow, I'm gonna love playing music when you started listening to things?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, desert island picks for me would be Exile on Main Street by the Stones, um, In a Silent Way by Miles Davis, the self-titled Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee record, um, for sure. Beats, Rhymes, and Life by Tribe Called Quest, and I don't know, maybe Beats Don't Fail Me Now or Communique.
See, those are all great choices, and I love that you picked from a few different things there.
Yeah, I also love George Jones' greatest hits. I mean, that it's just a good listen to. Love
hmm
his singing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love music in general, so it doesn't matter what it is to me. If it's a moving song or moving piece, then I'll listen
It's
to it.
all
I have
soul music, is what they say, right?
exactly if it's
Yeah, I
it's
don't know.
connects to you a different way.
Yeah, there should be no other genre. It should be just soul music.
Could you imagine how people would react to something like that? Like, oh, what are you, soul? It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah, totally. No, it's soul music. Does it speak to your soul or not?
hmm
That's the
So,
basic rule
so
of
like
thumb,
you
I
said,
guess.
you've been doing music for a little bit now. How do you think your music has evolved over the years, going from the bands into your solo career now?
I'm striving to just be different in anything and everything that I do. I um I think it's evolved in terms of the craft and the way that I can work a song. Like I can I can certainly produce other people now. Whereas when I first started, I couldn't do that. And so I think that the structure of a song and the emotion behind a song and you, just putting everything together from scratch has become a lot more of a I can't say it's second nature because it does take work, but it's certainly more advanced than it was when I was just starting. I just play something and that was it, and that was how it went. And this now I sit back and I judge what I'm doing a little bit more than I ever did, which also maybe not a very positive sort of evolution to judge yourself all the time, but we are making music, and I've tried to get to the point in my creativity to stop judging myself and others, and it's hard, but because it's all relative, right?
Hmm.
And I think the thing that I've done the most is just grow as a person, which has helped my music grow.
I think as creatives too, everyone does judge themselves whether they like it or not, because you want to put out the best piece of you in whatever you're doing, and then you always strive to be better. So there's always something to judge, I would think.
I guess I'm not striving to be better. I'm striving to be different.
Well, I mean better in the sense of you want that next piece that you make to be the best piece you've made at that time, and then the next one to be the best at that time, and whether
Yeah,
it's difference or not.
yeah, I disagree actually.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'm not actually trying to make my as far as a better person. Yeah, I think about that. In terms of art, I just think about, is it the only piece of music like it? That's what I think about.
Okay. I like that. I like that thought process on that. It's
Yeah.
everyone has a little bit different that they're picked from. Like I'm not a musician by any means, but I'm a photographer. So my
Hmm.
next picture I'm trying to look at is this the one picture that's like this? No one else has this. I've
That's sort of how I look at it. Yeah. Is this the
yeah,
only version of this? And once I've got that, then I know that I've created what I've wanted to create. It's not necessarily I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to create something that is the only thing, only one of its kind.
yeah, that makes sense. I can understand that for sure.
Yeah.
So because you've been doing this for a couple decades, you said, what's your thoughts on the music scene nowadays? We've gone through kind of a physical, selling albums and touring to a digital age and social media now. What do you how do you see things have moved along?
I think that it's great to see so much music pouring out of people. I enjoy that. It's a bad business plan. If you sat me down and you're like, my kid came to me and she's like, I really want to be a musician. I'd probably try to deter her from doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a horrible business plan. Um, but it is a wonderful profession. It's such a gift to be able to create music and share it with people. But yeah, you know, I think that I don't know where it's going right now, and I've to be honest, I don't know where anything's going. So I'm going to stop pretending that I even have any clue and just go with it.
I mean, everything is so fluid these days. I can see where that kind of confusion would come from, and we're now getting back into live shows again this year and like festivals with a bang, where the last couple of years during
Yeah,
COVID there was nothing. So things are always seem to be a little bit up in the air. At least that's the way I look at it, where you never know what's coming next.
yeah, I have no clue.
Hmm. Is there? Oh, I think I read you're from the Toronto area, right?
Yeah, I'm from Toronto. Yeah.
I'm based in Ottawa, so
Oh, nice.
I'm like your neighbor here. But
I
how do
like
you?
Ottawa a lot. Ottawa's been kind to me. I've enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, we have an interesting music scene here, even though it's a government type of town. We still have some fun stuff that goes on.
New club up there, the Redbird's great.
Yeah, actually, one of the photographers that work with is the regular shooter there, so I get to see stuff coming out of there often.
I love that. Yeah, it's Jeff, right?
Laura is the one of the regulars that shoots there that I see.
Oh, okay, okay.
I know Jeff also, actually, now that you say that. We're all
Isn't
like
he?
a tight community here.
He's the owner, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, he's great.
Hmm. It sucks that we lost a few of the good venues like Barrymore's and some of those down
Zaphods,
here.
right?
Yeah, Zaphod's. Although that one got turned into the 27 Club, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it's still kind of there, but that venue itself kind of disappeared, which was a mainstay.
Right.
But we're starting to see a little bit more stuff popping up, and we got I think 3 venues that are still really running good music here, which is nice.
What other venues that? I mean, I guess the NAC, right?
So NAC is one of the bigger ones, but they don't run some of the smaller shows as often. So we have the college actually does a lot, the Algonquin College Commons Theater.
Right.
Brass Monkey is probably the biggest, well, not the biggest, but I guess the one that does the most shows at this point.
Hmm.
And then we have Mavericks is still up and running, doing its thing right now.
Oh, Mavericks is still around.
Yeah, they a new owner in there, and they completely, redid it, and it's up and running, doing some good stuff right now too.
Wow. Okay.
It
Cool,
almost
man.
went under, actually. They ended up buying the building, I think it was, just to
Hmm.
make sure they can keep it, because there just wasn't anything happening.
Wow. Okay, cool. I get it. I love
Mm-hmm.
it.
So, what do you, how do you see a balance between like doing music and business now? Everything that, as a musician, you're a businessman. You have to make sure your
When you
stuff is
said that,
heard
I'm
by
looking at
everyone.
all the receipts on my floor at the moment.
So I have a filing cabinet right behind me here that I
Yeah,
have to go
I've
through
got one
regularly.
right here, and as soon as you said that, I said, "Well, I don't want to do it, but obviously I have to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna postpone and procrastinate as long as I possibly can." There's your answer. It's very frustrating, but it's also very interesting because I manage myself and have managed myself for the entire 2 decades now. Uh, Before that, we were managed by another guy, and but it's been interesting. I've learned a lot. Like I said, I don't know where the industry's going, but um, I get to keep the lion's share of everything. And the way I've developed my business model is that I just hire people as subcontractors for their
hmm
expertise and things like that. So I don't have to chunk off percentages except for, I guess, agents and stuff like that. But yeah, I get to keep the lion's share,
which is
which
always a
is, like I
bonus.
said, a great business model.
hmm Yeah, that's with Hidden Beats. It's a corporation. There's lots of moving pieces to it, and I run all the back end of everything, so I completely understand the
You get it, right?
procrastinating. And
It can be quite intense.
yeah, like I actually have to do my year-end taxes still, and that's
The
driving me
best.
nuts.
Yeah, it's the best.
hmm did you adapt well to going through COVID and having social media as kind of the main platform for everything?
uh, I wouldn't call it adapting well. I don't love it, to be honest. I think it's really hard
hmm
to put yourself out there and to show your life to people all the time. Like the one thing I used to say, like it was a great thing because people were sitting at home, and I think for the first time in a long time, my music actually was like speaking to people because they actually maybe listened to it.
hmm
I don't know if people were really listening to what I was doing. They knew I was around for such a long time, but maybe that's why they weren't listening. They're like, "Oh, he's been around for such a long time." And then I put out a record, and they're like, "Oh, wow!" And it really struck a chord with them. And I think they finally started to listen to what I was saying and what I was putting out there. So that was good. I make a joke all the time about how there was no way to perform live except for in your house, and how at one point I ran out of staging. Like the only
mm,
place that people didn't see me perform was probably the tiniest room in my house because that's the bathroom.
yeah.
And but everywhere else was like a set for a little while there. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it made things really interesting. That's actually, for me, these interviews started during COVID because,
Oh, did they?
yeah, I never got in front of the camera. I was always the guy behind, covering live shows and festivals and kind of doing that type of thing. And when COVID hit, it
Hmm.
was okay. Now I got nothing to do, and then I actually had, I can't remember which agency reached out to me and said, "Do you want to interview someone?"
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, sure, why not? And I just kind of jumped on the camera and started doing that. And I think we're up to about 200 interviews a year that we're doing now.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra effort, that's for sure. It's hard to come up with questions and stuff sometimes too. Like that's why I try to keep it casual to, we're just having a conversation, talking about whatever, and trying to figure out what makes you tick, what makes me tick, see how we can connect that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
Do you have any sort of things that you do to ground yourself? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in music these days, but when you need to kind of take a step back and collect yourself and
um,
center yourself.
yeah, I try to meditate. I try to exercise. walking in nature and hiking is one other thing that I try to do. What else? Yeah, I do those kind of things: swimming, tennis, canoeing, fishing. What else? Those kind of things. Reading.
That's one thing I can't bring myself to do, is sit and read a book. I don't know if I have ADD or something like that. I just can't sit there and focus on that.
Yeah, books are hard these days because of everything that's around us.
Yeah, and I'm so distracted by so many different things, and I got so many extra things on the go. Plus, I have a 6-month-old now too, so she keeps me
Oh,
pretty occupied.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Hmm.
She's been an interesting extra piece of energy that I have to compete with almost now.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Mhm.
The energy gets zapped pretty quickly.
Well, the nice thing is like, so I'm still like, I work from home, but so I could see her off and on, but my wife is also working, or she's at home with her like full time right now. So
Hmm.
she does lion's share while I'm actually doing things like this, and it gives me a few minutes to, then I can relieve her in the evenings and have my fun, and we have a nice kind of a split that way, which is good.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Hmm. One of the things I was reading about you is you've got a fair bit of award nominations and awards yourself, and I think you had two Juno nominations, or at least one for art of the year. What was that experience like for you?
I've been nominated for 3 Juno Awards, one for Contemporary Roots Album of the Year,
Okay.
2021, as well as Indigenous Artist or Group of the Year in 2021, and then Indigenous Artist or Group of the Year in 2023.
Okay, I knew I read at least two of them. It's hard to find information sometimes if you don't know the right places to look.
Sure.
But yeah, how was that experience being nominated for a Juno? It's a pretty
I
big
love being
award for.
nominated for Junos. It's
Hmm.
fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's a nice sort of recognition of the work, which is really great. You know,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
it took me 20 years to get nominated for my first Juno, so it had always been a dream of mine. We used to joke, my band and I, about another year, no nomination. So the record was up to, I think, yeah, 20 years, and then finally that changed, and I'm happy that it has.
Hmm.
The Junos have been really kind to me. So have the Canadian Folk Music Awards and the Native American Music Awards and Ontario Country Music Awards, the Polaris Prize, the Indies, the Summer Solstice Awards. I've been nominated for all of those. The Canadian Black Music Awards I've been nominated for as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a pretty decent sized list when I was starting to go through it, and
Yeah, I've got to put that list together so I don't forget.
hmm. Do you think that the Junos are, the awards are doing a good job finding some of these artists coming up, or is it just kind of happenstance that who
I
knows
do.
how they actually pick stuff?
I don't know how it actually gets picked, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, that I don't know. I've never been behind the scenes for that. I don't know
Well, I
if
know you can nominate, I think, for
can you?
some of them. Yeah,
I don't
there's
know.
some of them out there.
I'm not particularly interested in the back end of a lot of things. I find that I don't really have a lot of time to
Hmm.
focus on that kind of thing. But
Is there artists out there that you think people should be checking out more, even
yeah, I
potentially
think Lydia
locally for you
Prasad
guys?
is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one record that I think people just didn't hear this year, and I'm really disappointed. I really hope that when the Polaris Prize list comes out, that she's on it because
Yeah.
she's super deserves it.
Yeah, there's so many great artists coming out that it's crazy to see that some of them aren't getting the recognition that they deserve, really.
It's craziness. Yeah. So
So I do have a couple fun questions I like to ask everyone, especially on first time interviews, and gives me a little bit more insight to you. First
mhm.
one is, what's something on your go-to playlist that people wouldn't expect that you listen to?
I like the band Helmet. I think they're cool.
Okay, yeah, I like Helmet.
So that's one band that people might not expect. Do you hear that? I think my alarm's going up. I think I better turn that off. One sec. Who else would be on my playlist? Paper Kites are on there right now. Do you mind if I just grab that?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Sorry about that, Tom.
Yeah, no worries.
It was. It's probably annoying everybody. The
I
next door
actually didn't even hear it on
neighbors,
this side.
everybody. Yeah. So what else would be on my playlist? I don't know. Let me see here. I was listening to Darling Side earlier, which is cool. Somebody turned me onto that group. I was listening to Bob Dylan the other day because it was his birthday. Tina Turner, of course, because she passed.
Hmm.
Um, Muriel Buckley and Lydia Prasad for sure. Things like that. The Nationals' new record's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, I got to see them live recently too.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
What's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
In an interview?
Yeah, even something that you might want to hear more from someone, or something that's not asked enough when you're doing an interview.
Well, my favorite interview question came from a 8-year-old
Okay.
at like a school assembly, and he asked me how old my boots were.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would put that high on the list.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, thinking about that, it's like, okay, I like this question because it helps me add things to my list if I need to.
How old are your boots?
Hmm.
That's
I
yeah, that's it.
that it's almost refreshing. Kids just have such innocence in what they ask and what they think, and no.
Totally. I was shocked. I was like, huh? And I had to really think about how old my boots were.
Hmm. It makes me think of I have a pair that's a couple years old now, but yeah, thinking of that is actually interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Hmm. One of the I mean, we kind of glossed over a little bit earlier, but you are performing tonight at the Four Chords
Yeah, I'm
and a
very
Truth.
excited.
How did you get involved with that?
Well, Andrea reached out to me, which was really lovely. I always wanted to do it at the Dakota. I'm super stoked that it is at Massey Hall, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, it's one of the rooms that I haven't played in the city. So yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I've been following it for a little bit. It came across my desk at one point, and I started looking into it a bit more. And when I had the opportunity to actually talk to Andrea, and they said we can also see if there's any of the performers. I said send me anyone who's there. Everyone looks really interesting. So,
Yeah, they're great. Yeah,
mhm.
everyone's really good.
How do you think the evolution of that has gone? Andrea was talking a bit about when it first started. She had no idea how it was going to go, but now we're talking. I think they're 21 shows deep at this point. And
I think it's
so,
wonderful what she's done. Yeah.
mhm.
But pairing artists like that together is the coolest thing. I love listening to what inspires my fellow peers, and it always gives me inspiration and a boost myself for sure in what I'm doing to see. And it also shows, you know, a common unity in the struggle, to be honest, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of things that everyone's experienced in a similar fashion in the music industry, but their own version of it. So
Hmm.
getting to tell stories about that type of stuff is probably interesting.
It's great. And Adam Baldwin's in town. We're hoping to do a couple of shows together in the near
Okay.
future, which would be great. Um,
Yes, I
so
mean, it
yeah.
sounds fun. I'm hoping to get up to. I mean, I would have been up there if I thought about scheduling for
Well,
today,
we'll
but
probably. I hope we get to Ottawa actually, so you might get a chance anyway.
okay. Well, yeah, if you're in Ottawa, I'll be there. I'd say with bells on, but I don't like wearing bells, so
Whistles then.
I can
Don't
do
worry
a
about the
whistle.
bells. Just go with the whistles.
Yeah, I can do whistles.
There you go.
Now, an important question that I think everyone wants to know is why music? Why do you keep pursuing this career of yours?
Why music?
Hmm.
Because I'm a mental case. No, because I do love to inspire people, and I think
Hmm.
that's the greatest calling. Um, Everybody has their own thing though, you know, like mine is music and yours is photography. Michael Jordan's happened to be basketball. And it's really to try to excel and achieve your own um, equilibrium in life, but to use the gifts that you've been given. Basically, I think it was, I don't know who said it, might have been Picasso, who's a strange guy anyway, but he said something like, you know, the purpose of life is to find your gift. The meaning of life is to give it away.
I've actually heard that before.
So
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one too.
What do you hope that people take away from your music?
Hope,
Hope, okay.
for sure. It's always been my MO. Hope, for sure.
No, I like that. That's nice. Like I said, I listened to a few of your tracks
What
beforehand,
did you
and
listen to?
I have them on my playlist here. So first one that was right on the top of your Spotify was the Ballad of a Young Troubadour, or
Yeah,
Troubadour.
Troubadour, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I like the feel that you have in your music. It's nice. It's, you know, you can feel your emotion when you're doing it, which is good.
Thank you. It's about trying to find that emotion and sharing it for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I always like to say that music is a collective experience on an individual level, because everyone takes a little bit of their own piece from it too. So
Hmm. It's all relative, like I said before. It's quite interesting when
mm-hmm.
you look
And
at
it's
it.
all storytelling too. Like there's a story behind everything.
It really is, yeah.
That's pretty much all I have written down here. Is there any kind of final words of wisdom you want to leave to people who will be watching this and hopefully checking you out live tonight?
I don't know. I it's always you know, I'm different from what I was. I'm trying to live here right now. I'll be different than I am right now tomorrow. But the common thread that I like to run with is hope and love for what we do and for the people around us and for the people who listen and the people who come to the shows and for their families. I think that to impart any sort of wisdom on people is rather selfish in a way, because I don't know anything. I just know what I know. And I know that I know pretty much nothing other than, well, I get up in the morning and I take care of myself and my loved ones the best that I can to the best of my ability. And sometimes my ability is different than it is on certain days. Maybe it's because I'm tired. Maybe it's because I'm going through something. And I think that music has helped me in such a way that while going through life, it has given me a bit of an antidote and a salvation. It takes a lot of sacrifice, but all things in life do, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess I rambled on a little bit about nothing, but
I know that
it's
makes
something
sense
that
too, though.
um,
It may sound like nothing, but it speaks to a lot of different things too.
okay. So there you go.
It's like it's all how you take it, really. So
Hmm.
I mean, I understand the way I take that is, you know, only so much, and you can only impart your experience on someone, and you can't really make their experience than what they're going to experience.
Yeah, it's all I can do, I guess.
Hmm. If someone's being introduced to you as a musician, what's the first track you think they should listen to?
The first song,
Like the first one you would think somebody should listen to when they're being introduced to your music, that would open the door for them to experience the
um,
rest.
I'd say go to start. So Time's Made Up My Mind by Staggered Crossing.
Okay.
And then work your way 20 years until now. Try Seeds, which is coming the latest, you know?
Hmm. I mean, that sounds good to me, and we're gonna make sure we link all your handles and your music, so everyone can get a
Thank you.
taste of what you do. And I hope you have a wonderful time tonight. It sounds like it's going to be a really great event, great experience.
It's going to be awesome.
Hmm.
And I'm so stoked about the whole thing, to be honest. Like, I'm just happy to be walking into that room.
Well,
And
by the time people see this, you're going to be done and embraced by everyone there, and it's going to be a good time, I think.
it's going to be solid. I know it.
Hmm.
And I can't wait to see some of my friends too. So,
Awesome. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. We'll sign off now, and I'm sure you got to get prepped for tonight. And
yeah, I got to figure out what to wear. What should I wear?
I'm the worst at fashion. I don't like to wear sleeves all year round. So
You're a tank top dude. Okay.
yeah, I'm a big boy and I get really warm, so sleeves are just easier for moving around a bit. My wife hates it because I don't dress up enough for her.
Well, you do it sometimes, right? You give
Yeah,
her
yeah,
a little
I,
bit of,
I definitely have to. I've got the nice button down shirts and things like that.
there you go, right? You do it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do everything all the time.
Because then she just expects it all the time, and I don't know if I can actually manage that.
See, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, Tom, it's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, for sure, and hopefully we'll get to have another conversation again at some point.
I'd love that. Just reach out anytime.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Have a
ciao.
good one.
You too, brother.